Hey, what's up, everyone? Morey here, and today we're going to be doing a breakdown on Kalen Walker's super impressive 415 40-yard dash. We're going to go ahead and hop right into it. All right, so just to give a couple stats about Kalen Walker, did a little bit of research into him. So it says online he's about 5'7", 5'8" in terms of his height, about 142, 150 pounds. And then he currently has the school record, the Iowa school record for the 100, 10:09, as well as the 60 with 6:51, just to give an idea of where he's at in terms of his overall sprinting, and also shows a lot about how fast guys like Christian Coleman probably are, even as somebody like Noah Lyles, how quick these guys are, Oblique Seville, all these guys that have really elite level starts, how fast they probably are out of the blocks, considering that Kalen Walker ran 10:09 and ran a 4:15. So there's definitely people that are able to run under 4:1 that are currently in the track and field, and he ended up he ran 10:22 in the Olympic trials as well as the Big Ten championship. But with that being said, we'll hop right into it. So first thing I'm going to do is just set a timer just so you can see where he's at with the timer. So this is a overlay with the video, so you can see it's at 0, and we'll go through the whole 40 here a little bit. You can see how it just automatically times it, and we can see he's finishing here. To me, he's in like a 4.3, kind of 4.4 area when it comes to the video. Not to say that what this is wrong, or like that the 415 is wrong, just for people that are maybe timing themselves in the 40 and want to get an idea of where they're at with their 40 times. So he actually ran from a laser perspective, a 415. It could be off with the laser. I do think that he might be a little bit behind it when he's starting here, but it's hard to know for sure in terms of the positioning of his hands and the rest of his body. But I mean, it doesn't look like he had too much of a additional time that he could have, kind of gotten away with there. So it's pretty accurate in my opinion. But it also, from a video perspective, just shows you that the video timing does not match up perfectly with the laser timing. So if you get a 4.5 or 4.6 with the video time, then that typically means that you actually ran faster when you go into like a laser time. So let's take a look at some of the things that he did well here. Again, being 5'7", 5'8", I think the amount of steps that he covers is pretty good. So he gets to first 4 steps here at about 1 second, and gets to 7 steps in about 1:56, maybe 1:60, somewhere in that kind of general region. And again, that's a very impressive time. In the combine, we'll see people that can actually get down into the 1:4s, which again is really, really good. And he's pretty close to 7 steps in 10 yards. Even though he's a little bit shorter, he still does a good job of being able to pick up distance. This is his 12th step right here that we're seeing. That's 12. And so he's passing the 20 at about 2.6. Again, very good time. And these are times that we're typically seeing. I mean, I usually say for the first 10, we want to be able to get under, depends where you want to be at, but under 165. And then with the first 20, around 2.6, 2.65 at the highest are going to be the times that you want to be able to get to in order to run a really elite 40-yard dash. And the thing with him is he's just not able to cover as much distance per step. So he has really good acceleration and is able to get to his top speed very well, but he is, so again, this is his 12th step right here, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And so he's passing there about 21, basically 22 for the amount of steps that he took, which is, in my opinion, a little bit too many, right? 22 steps, where we see guys that will be in the 5'10", 5'11" range that will run closer to 19 to 20 step. But that also shows that his height, how it impacts his ability to pick up the same amount of distance per step. So him being at 22 steps for his height is not bad at all. But when it comes to the elite level NFL guys and even track guys, they're just able to cover a lot more distance in less steps. So the reason he's 10:09 in the 100, which is, I don't want to take that away, it's a great time, but in order to get sub 10, you just got to be able to cover more distance per step there, which is a lot about force production. It's hard to generate as much force when you're about 140, 150 pounds. So I'm sure as he continues to get older, as he continues to mature, he'll be able to put on more weight, which should help him in being able to hopefully pick up more distance per step, because he definitely has the speed. He definitely has a turnover. Really great with his his knee drive, really great with his leg lift. We could see he's staying really close to the ground with those first few steps. Does a great job of pushing off and gets really into his top speed very, very cleanly there. Is a little bit excessive, I would say, with how far out to the side he's getting with that left arm. I kind of do that as well, and it's something I'm working on too, where you're just way too far out here that then it makes it harder to transition as well off of that leg, because you're just spending so much of your energy going out here, where the elite guys are able to go more straight back with that arm, with that shoulder. So then that action and that transition off just ends up being that much cleaner of a movement. Again, it's not a bad thing. It's not like he's doing something terrible, but it's just one of those things where it's like, what are some small changes that we can make that would be able to make a difference in his running? I would say being able to better control that arm swing would be one. And then also just being able to create more force in the ground. I mean, he's a little bit wide with that right foot, so he's getting a little bit out to the side there with the force production. So the more you pull straight down and straight back with the leg, then the more that force is going to be straight down into the ground. And as we all know, the amount of force that you're generating into the ground has a direct correlation to the overall speed. So the more effectively we can pull straight back, then the more force we're going to be able to create, which I think, it's telling that the left arm goes out to this side and then the right leg goes out to this side, where if both of those can be a little bit more centered, I think that would help him a lot. Much better and much smoother with the left leg pull as well as the right arm pull, which I'm assuming would be where he generates more force into the ground, where his right side probably doesn't generate as much force in the ground, even though he still is probably generating a lot of force, especially compared to his body weight, right? So it's all relative. When you look at somebody like Usain Bolt, who's over 200 pounds, and he's generating about 5 times the amount of force into the ground of his body weight, and then you do the same thing with somebody like Kalen here. If you go 5 times the amount there, that would only be about 600 to 700 pounds. So the more he can gain weight and size, and the more he can get strength, then that will help him in being able to, I think, really maintain the top end speed, right? He wants to be able to maintain efficiency when it comes to his acceleration, but getting into his top speed and making it so he can continue to finish at a higher level. I saw a thing that was talking about how this season he's really putting a focus on his finish, and thinks that might end up being one of his weaknesses. And to me, that would mean that, or in order for him to do that, he would want to put a big focus on improving the amount of strength that he is able to generate into the ground, and the amount of force that he's able to generate into the ground. So as always, guys, I hope you like the information. Go and click that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have any recommendations, you can leave those down below. We'll also have some links to some of our programs down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.